him and just kissing his ass. Where do you stand with them at this point? I know they came to you after, I mean, I don't know if you can say this, but they came to you after January 6th, right?
I mean, they some people there wanted me to help represent them, and I said no. I turned it down. And I later published an article saying that that I just thought the facts of January 6th did not make a. I mean, you could not claim he won the election. I was like, it was the evidence is overwhelming. It was Biden won fair and square. So when they said, "Will you represent us?" I said, I'm sorry, I just don't agree. But no, I mean, I get what I agree with you, Danelle. I think one disappointing thing in this is that Congress is nowhere to be found. So Republican leaders in Congress, they would actually be doing Trump a favor if they were more critical of some of the places where he's gone too far and get him to adjust policies more to the middle. And I think that did happen with these tariffs. I think these tariffs have been a disaster, and there have been leaders in Congress of both parties who've heavily criticized him, and there are Republicans who are suing, in fact. I'm on the board of a group that is about to file a lawsuit against the legality of the tariffs.
What group is that?
I think that actually helps.
What group is that?
It's called the Pacific Legal Foundation. So they're a bunch of, libertarians, basically, and they just think, the president doesn't have authority to impose these tariffs. I think it would actually help Trump, right, to listen more, for people in the party to be more honest about what they think, and then for him to listen more, because then he'll be a better president. His policies will moderate. But you're right, that hasn't happened. I think it's unfortunate. I think you're going to see more of it.
Why?
Though.
Why do you think that?
Well, because I think Trump came in. I think one reason why I think the other leaders of the party have been so lockstep with him when that they don't agree is because I think Republicans were so upset about what happened to Trump, not about January 6th, but about the prosecutions, that they kind of rallied around the flag. So I was looking at this for a piece I was writing, and before Trump was indicted and the special counsels were announced and all the prosecutions were happening, Ron DeSantis was 13 points ahead of Trump in the primaries. People totally forget this. DeSantis looked like he was going to win. And then when all these prosecutions and investigations of Trump started, these Republicans just rallied around him because they thought he was being treated so unfairly. And I think when Trump won the election, he still got that momentum. But I think when you start making mistakes like on tariffs, I think he's starting to lose the support that he has. That's why I think now you're going to see more Republicans come out and be more critical.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know
I'm
that
wrong, but that's that's how I feel.
They might have gained.
But
a
I bet
little
I talk to
confidence
more
at the
Republicans than you guys do. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about this.
I have more data than you guys might have on it.
But John,
There's no argument. No arguing. But, last Republican I voted for was 1992 in Chico. He was a good man. What were you going to say, Liv?
Well, I was going to say that also I kind of feel like, and I might be unfair here to Republicans, but I feel like they also hold on to Trump because he's the best candidate they've had on TV for a while, and that they're afraid that if he didn't win, like they probably thought Ron DeSantis is going to lose to whoever because he's not as charismatic as Trump is. I mean, I don't really find Trump that charismatic, but people do, obviously.
I think he's the most.
And I feel like they hold on to that cult of I feel like they hold on to this cult of personality because they're afraid they don't have another candidate in the post-Obama political landscape that can compete with some of the Democrats.
I don't know. The best you had was Biden.
That's
too old. He got too old.
You know what? Since we're going that way, I'm going to take it that way. I watched the torture report, to prepare for this thing, and I don't know if
good. I
anyone
didn't
else
watch it, but I looked good.
Well, the guy, he didn't look like you. Come on. But here's the thing. I got to ask what it's like to be portrayed in that way, to exist in popular culture in that way? Because, I think of you as a guy I worked with back in the day, and I know my history a little bit, but if I talk to people who are politically engaged and really aware, if I say your name, it pops. So does that change your life in any kind of discernible way?
Oh, lots of ways. I mean, one thing is, how would I put it? So a lot of professors like me, you spend a lot of time working and writing about stuff that no one ever reads or cares about. So there's a funny statistic that something like 75% of all the legal scholarship that appears, like articles and stuff, is never read by anybody ever. So, that's one kind of life. You can be very happy in what you're working on. You don't care if anybody ever reads it or knows about it. So it had the effect of putting a spotlight on me. I felt like everything I said and did for this time period was, heavily scrutinized and looked at. And so has a benefit. People find out what you think about stuff, but it also means people read a lot of what you write. And so you have to be, conscious of this. So like you get invited to speak. It's kind of funny. So I got invited to speak at Brown and to debate. Who did I debate? Like the head of, I think they used to be called Amnesty International from New York City. So like 3,000 people show up. And this guy is going on. So I made some joke and he said, my team, when they were preparing me, said to watch out about your humor. And I said, my team of one also warned me about you too. But that's what it's like. Like you're debating these people, these huge floor. They really care. They're preparing. I wasn't preparing, but it was a change. Now I think my life's getting back to normal. But for a while I was like, hey, maybe obscurity ain't so bad.